Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge. This is your Manchester United against PSG live watch-along pre-season game. Things are starting to hot up. You know, Carrick's going stronger. I was saying on Twitter earlier that the right-back experiment is over. Mazraoui comes in at right-back. Yoro, as we've seen, back on the bench now. So that was always an experiment. I think we all, well, most of us figured that one out. I think some people went a little bit pre-season Pirlo and thought we had a new right-back. We don't. It'll be Mazraoui and Dalot, I think, fighting for that. And Yoro will have to try and get some minutes in the first team as a centre-back, I suppose. I'm sure we'll see him in the second half. But look, in fairness, Michael Carrick is going stronger. And as I said to you, it will be a weak PSG side. They have a lot of players missing from their first line. We'll look at their lineup in a minute, but there's really only Pacho, the goalkeeper, and Kvaratskhelia who are real starters for PSG. They do have the likes of Vitinha and Neves on the bench, but it's their first few minutes of pre-season, so we're a lot further ahead than they are, which is why I would expect us to get a good confidence-boosting result today. I think that's my thoughts on it, to be honest. Daniel Thompson says, not sure what to expect from today, but great to be live and direct with the great community. Hello, Mark and the United Stand. Hope we're all having a good day. Thank you, Daniel, for being our first super chat of the afternoon. Remember, get those in. Anything you want to talk about, we'll talk about. I mean, look, pre-season's always been something, I don't know what your thoughts are, but pre-season for me has always been something that I've quite enjoyed. It's a bit of a feed in to the start of the season. I've got to say I've been more scared about this pre-season than any other pre-season because we do have an element in our fan base who love the Glazers, love Ineos, love the transfer window. And you do have to put up with the few hours after the game where they start telling you that Yoro's a right back, Mason Mount's a brilliant centre midfielder, we're going to win the league because we beat Atletico Madrid. We you know, that's the negative, I think, to pre-season, is that we do have some thick people in our fan base who think that this is real life. And it's not. Pre-season's about, for me, can we press high up the pitch like we did against Atletico Madrid and Rosenborg? Can we show styles of play that are different to last season that may be more entertaining this season? I think those are the big things that matter to me. But look, it can be tough when the low IQ United fans start talking about solutions in pre-season that, you know, protect what has been a very poor summer transfer window. But look, we can park that hope. Well, we won't park it. We'll still discuss it, won't we? But look, I think the positives, I think Santos and Mount have played very well in pre-season. But let's not forget Mason Mount barely stays fit. And Santos hasn't played a competitive game for Man United. I mean, I was actually watching highlights of Man United against PSG in COVID in Paris in an empty stadium. Brilliant goal by Marcus Rashford. But I was watching Fred in the midfield and I was like, you know what? If he was playing like that in pre-season, people would be saying, we found our midfielder. So look, pre-season can be strange. Real life can be can be strange. But you know, Garfield says he was just watching that as well. Fred played well in that game against PSG. It was real. You know, we forget that playing well isn't necessarily the consistency and standard that we need. So we will see. In relation to this team for Manchester United, you should have it on your screen at the moment. Yes, you do. Okay, so United's lineup, Heaton in goal. Le Mans is not part of the squad for this, is he? He didn't travel, so no Le Mans. Heaton in goal. Mazraoui's back, trained all week. He's at right back. Maguire, Heaven and Shaw have obviously played most games, as have Santos and Mount. And then it's Ahmad, Lacey, Dorgu and Mbeumo. Again, most of pre-season, most of this team has played. However, on the bench, we've got Amas, Armour, Bruno's back, Delot's back, Fletcher, Heath, me, Tielemans, Yoro, Xerxes. So Xerxes still here, of course, but interestingly on the bench, Tielemans, Bruno, Dalot. They're the three that are back. So yeah, look, it's a strong United side. I think it will be I think this game should be straightforward. I think Leeds on Wednesday will be a tough game because Leeds obviously hate United. So, and it's in Dublin, and I think it will be a big game, that one. So I'm looking forward to that one. And we've also got Alex there on the chat, on the screen. And then for PSG, if I can put their team up on the screen for you. Where's PSG? There it is. not world champions, Champions League champions 2 years in a row. But as you can see, it's a very different PSG side. And this is because of the World Cup. A lot of their players have played deep in the World Cup. So Savinov in goal is their starting goalkeeper, to be fair. But Bolly, Sabagny obviously was at Bournemouth, still a good player. Pacho, normally a starter. Kukaba, Fernandez, Mayulu, Baraldo, you'll know his name. Mbaye, good young player. Kvaratskhelia, obviously we know him. And Ayari. So a lot of backup players in this PSG side. On the bench, Marquinhos is there. João Neves is there. Vitinha is there. And Mendes is there. But they've still got all their French players to come back. So, yeah, they're Hakimi as well, not back either. So this is not PSG's best side, but they are still they're still going to have some good players. PSG. There's some good young players there. It's a competitive environment. I saw today that they're looking to get Torres in from Barcelona. They're playing a Super Cup game on Wednesday, actually, which we'll probably do a watch-along for on That's Football against Aston Villa. So, look, I'd expect United to win, but I think the interesting thing is whether it's a weakened PSG side or not, they should still be a side that play a brand of football a certain way. Hope this game makes us want Vitinha, says Just Pasty. I think there's next to no chance of that. 13, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you so much for getting your badge in. Very exciting stuff coming for the Members Club early next week. I can't say too much because it'll be a spoiler, but it was meant to be on Thursday. It didn't happen on Thursday. It's happening on Tuesday. Very excited about that. And as somebody who knows what's happening, all I can say is get ready. It's big. And it's been very hard to keep it quiet. Why do you think Tielemans isn't starting? Same reason Bruno and Dalot and whoever else is on the bench who's only just come back isn't starting. So, yeah, nothing more sinister than that. Rajaf wants JJ on the pitch. He's not even on the bench, mate, so that's not going to happen. But thank you very much for your early super chats there. Tuesday is going to be massive, says Matthew McFadden, our producer. Yeah, rest in peace to Messi's dad. I've only literally just seen that myself. I've not been on social media. But yes, very, very sad news. Only 68. And obviously, the world of football sends its condolences because obviously it is very, very sad news. Talking about social media, by the way, if you go to Goldbridge Mark, you'll see an absolute, well, it was so close. If you know what I'm on, I'm watching it here. I mean, the keep-ups are easy. I really thought I'd done it. That's why I looked back. I thought I'd done it perfect. I've done it so many times. I actually thought it hit the post and went in, and it didn't. Bang, bang, bang. Hit the post, and I had a look back. It didn't go in. It came out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do you? Bang, bang, bang. Did it go in? Check out Goldbridge Mark. Anyway, we're in Gothenburg, which is in Sweden, last time I checked. Jack's going to the match on Wednesday. Yeah, get your questions in. Get your questions in. Glenn Stubbs, welcome to the Members Club. And Liam as well. When's Robbie wearing the kit? Says Sachin. It was my idea. I do need to message Robbie because I don't even know if we're doing Premier League predictions this year. So we definitely do need to get him up to Old Trafford in a Man United kit. And it's going to have to be some, it's not something he's going to volunteer, is it? So I better get onto that one. Definitely. Amrim lost again, says Johans. Well, we're playing them next week, aren't we? I think we'll batter AC Milan. Yeah, I do. I think we will. Italian football's not what it was. I think Leeds will be a good game on Wednesday. I think AC Milan should be quite a straightforward game. And where are we playing AC Milan anyway? Are we playing them in Old Trafford, or are we playing them at Milan, or are we playing some neutral ground as well? I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Certainly a bigger ground, a bigger crowd in Gothenburg. Wonder why that is. I would say it's because it's PSG. I would say it's because Bruno is back and Tielemans is there. I'd just say it's a bigger game and there's more interest. I think in the earlier games, there wasn't. We're playing AC Milan in Poland. There we go. So, yeah, I think there's just more interest in this game because it's later in the pre-season. there's some big players playing. Vitinha is on the bench. Marquinhos, João Neves, Kvaratskhelia. The PSG are the best team in Europe as well. So yeah, I think naturally there'll be more people. Mazraoui over Delo. Is he starting right back, says Jack? No, I just think Mazraoui's probably further ahead in his fitness. Rohan, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. There's a lot of Man United fans in Sweden, says Hag. There is. These pre-season interviews makes one think it's all chocolate and roses over at Man United in terms of quality, says Sandy. Yeah, I do think United, I was listening to a little bit to Carrick before I hit the live button, and I don't know whether it's just PR or stupidity, but they really are talking like we're ready to go. And we will have a good start to the season. I've said that. I've said that consistently. But there doesn't seem to be much of an acknowledgement that for a first season for Michael Carrick, I think he's been backed pathetically. And if he's sat there positive about this season, I think he's in for a very bumpy ride. I think he is. But you know, it's fine being positive, but you can't be positive when things go wrong. And I don't think he knows something we don't know. I don't think Carrick sat there on secret success. I think it's going to be a very, very difficult season for Manchester United. Yeah. Anon, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for that. Bruno's on the bench. Tillemans is on the bench. Looking forward to seeing him in the second half. We won't be seeing the likes of Thwaites. We won't be seeing the likes of JJ because they're not there. Fletcher brothers are there. Amas is there. So we could get to see a little bit of them in the second half. But players about to come out here. Probably Maguire's last game as captain. He's been the captain throughout pre-season, but Bruno's back now. So he will be giving that up. Yeah, Luke Shaw's got a load of Vic all over his tracksuit top. Well, I hope it's Vic. It's got some sort of clear substance sticking all over his front of his top. It's probably to help him breathe. Either that or he's got very excited, which doesn't bear thinking about. But the players are coming out onto the pitch here. Sweden weather. It doesn't look hot. It looks cloudy. There we go. Did you watch The Odyssey? You know I did, Demin. I went and watched it on Thursday night. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Is Man United looking at a 30-year drought like Liverpool did? 2012-13 is a while ago now, says Jesper. 30 years is a long time. What are we at? We're coming up for 14 years without a title. I mean, you've got to double it to get to 30. I would hope we'll win the title in the next while. But somebody just said, what's the lineup? I'll whack it up on the screen for you there. But basically, it's the same team that we've been using in pre-season, apart from Yoro's out for Mazraoui. I think there were some people in the fan base, and never say never. I'm not mocking it. Never say never. You can have an opinion. I think some people thought maybe Lenny Yoro was going to be a right back from now on. I don't think he is. I don't think he is, no. Who's impressed me so far? Look, I think Mason Mount has done well. I think Yoro did well at right back. I think Santos has done very well. I think Lacey has been the real standout for me because Santos is bought, Mount's injury prone, Yoro's bought, Lacey's from the youth. So I think Lacey for me has been the big positive and starting again. So I think Lacey's been the big standout for me because of what I want to see in a Man United player. Jake says the MUTV commentators are terrible. My ears are hurting. Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't have an axe to grind with MUTV, but it's very much like listening to James Corden talk about himself. It's just one big PR up your own arse exercise. So turn it off, put the audio on here, you'll get a much better conversation because they are just 100% propaganda. I wouldn't even have a chat. I'm banned from MUTV anyway because they just wouldn't let me on. But I wouldn't even have a chat with anyone from MUTV. Be a big, massive waste of time. Be boring. They just wouldn't say anything real. Are they using transfer budget for stadium? If so, can we look forward to 5 to 10 years of this with the fans' last-minute buy will make it better? Aman, if we have 5 transfer windows like this one, then we will be in very, very big trouble in 5 years' time. You just can't. People can pretend, but you just can't. You can't have transfer windows like this. Absolutely not. Thanks for all the early super chats. Welcome to the new members. Something very exciting coming up on Tuesday. I don't think anybody is going to have a members section like our members section. Let me just say that. And there's a lot more to come. Juggling great, Mark. Socks higher than That's Football budget, says Harros. They're not socks. They're not. If you look at the video, they're not socks. The wife was taking the piss out of me. They're not even socks. They're, I've got problems with my shins at the moment. So they're like, they don't have any bottoms on them. They just go over your shins. They're like gloves for your shins, really. They help with like circulation and stuff. So they're not even socks. But even in them, I could still do it. Right, let's get ready to go here. Luke Shaw's got that stuff on his shirt as well. I think he's probably got a cold. I'm going to go United 4, PSG 1. I think we're just going to be way better than them because of our pre-season. We've been together longer. I've seen these types of games before where you play Real Madrid or Barcelona in pre-season and they really struggle because they're not as far ahead as us. But let's see. Thoughts on hydration breaks in the Carabao Cup? What? Hydration breaks need finishing, Garfield, basically. Each week I say this week we hope we sign someone, says Grunt. Funny how fans who hated Amrim are still watching his results to prove themselves right. Let it go. Happy to see Aiden Heaven starting his top, says Ham. Thank you very much. And Mburmo nearly getting in there, but there's a foul. Mute said Carrick had a wealth of talent at midfield. I turned it off. The propaganda is disgusting, says Lake on the Moon. Where are JJ and Thwaites? Not on the bench, but Fletcher's are. Yeah, they're not here. Top ticks, no. Thank you so much for that. Look, don't listen to MUTV unless you want to listen to positivity. You know, it's your own fault if you haven't learnt by now. Look, I don't like Mburmo up front. I'm going to say something controversial. I'd rather see Rashford up front than Mburmo. And I know that's controversial, but I don't like Mburmo up front. Doesn't mean he can't score goals. He scored a couple before, but I really don't like him as a striker. I don't think even he likes to play as a striker, to be honest, but needs must. Hopefully, when Sesko's back, we won't see it very often. But PSG here, good to see United doing the press early on. Very good to see them pressing early on, but it hasn't actually worked because PSG have played through the press, and it's Kvaratskhelia here with a bit of the ball, goes wide left. What a goal. Well, they have absolutely carved us open there. What a goal. I mean, look, I'm not even going to moan. What a goal. Absolutely brilliant goal. Carved us open. We were pressing high up as well. I mean, that is a goal, and it's a very, very good goal. There's not a lot Tom Heaton can do, but look, I spoke about this last week. It's great to see the pressing, but I did say if you get through the press, that defence ain't all that. You know, you're up against the likes of Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw. You know, they're not particularly quick. The midfield is not particularly quick. And they absolutely took us apart there. It was a brilliant, brilliant goal by PSG. I mean, no hate on United. It was a brilliant play from PSG. We pressed quite well. I thought we pressed very well, but they played through the press extremely well. So, yeah, very good start by then. Kvaratskhelia with a shot, and it was nearly 2-0. Tom Heaton with a save. And look, that's what pre-season's all about. Calm down. You know, you press high up the pitch and there is space in behind. Here's Mazraoui on the right-hand side. Might get a few goals. Ahmad into Mazraoui. But yeah, I mean, look, we are playing. I know it's their reserves team predominantly, but they all train together. It's still Enrique ball, isn't it? He's not going to play the reserves and say, let's play like Stoke. He's still going to try and play PSG football. And, you know, brilliant. What I like about PSG is their passing ability, but their ability to, they love to switch the play. They love to switch the play really quickly. And what they did there is they beat the press down the right-hand side. And then when the opportunity came, they switched to the left-hand side as quick as they could. And obviously that got them into a very decent position. But look, the game does look quite open here. Good play there, but it goes out for a throw-in. Priority Demon, welcome to the Members Club. Liam says, the club boasts about JJ, but if we aren't ambitious, why would he want to stay with us when he turns 16? Stephen's been a member for 8 months. Thank you very much, Stephen. Acro says, I'd love Pacho for centre-back. I'm guessing big spends in January after seeing if Carrick is successful, then back in for the end of the season. Only explanation. Acro says he thinks we're going to spend big in January. Very, very... Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that. But thanks for the super chats. Welcome to the Members Club, Priority Demon. So if you've missed the first few minutes, which a lot of people do, Man United, in their characteristic and actually quite good high press in the first couple of minutes, PSG played through it and ended up scoring a very good goal. So that is the danger with the high press. And I said this against Atletico Madrid as well. The midfield and the attack press quite well, but if the defence isn't playing a high line, you play through the press and you're at the back four. Ideally, if you're going to play a high press, you want your back four to be high as well. But our back four can't be that high because if the ball goes over the top, we're not particularly quick. So it can be a bit problematic to play a high press when you've got a back four like ours. And PSG exploited it very, very well there. But, you know, I quite like the high press. I much prefer it than the sit back and counter with Hollywood balls. So, and there's not many teams like PSG who can actually play through a press as well as they can. We could do with getting hammered by PSG, Leeds and AC Milan just to try and wake the board up, says Morgs. Well, there's a long way to go. Please do share the video, by the way. We've got nearly 15,000 watching already this Saturday afternoon. Good play by Dorgu there. And Santos wins the free kick. Sorry, throw in. Wolves are back, but besides that, is Maguire nailed on starter at centre-back? Deciding my FPL team, says Matthew Paul. I think Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire are nailed on starters for Carrick, yeah. If you're looking at FPL... And also, the thing about Maguire is I still think we're going to be very dependent on set pieces. So I think Maguire's probably... If we're anything like last season, we didn't concede a lot of goals, and Maguire did contribute quite a lot goals himself. So, good cross into the front post there. And Mbermo's header didn't really have much on it, but it was half a chance. It was Lacey who did really well. I mean, Mbermo should probably do a little bit better there. I think he's tried to place it instead of just getting his head on it with power. It was a little bit better than I thought. He's tried to flick it over to the back post, but good play by Lacey and a decent attempt by Mbermo. Man United are being sponsored by Betway this season, and Glinios are trying to play lucky ladies in the transfer window, says Shallock. Mbaye already scoring for Liverpool, says Calco. Mbaye? Liverpool? What are you talking about? Mbaye is a player that Liverpool are looking at, yeah. But I think they'll be getting Barcola. Kyle, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. United X says, I think Maguire holds the entire defence down. It looks like it's other mistakes, but it's always because Maguire is slow and can't cover the ground. Yeah, but I don't blame Maguire for that. I mean, Maguire's what, 33? And... at 26, he was slow. Like, that's a coaching issue. That's a board issue, isn't it? If you play Harry Maguire at centre-back, sometimes he will get exploited for pace. Just got back from New York. Can see why you love it, says Kenzo. Oh, lovely to hear. I'm glad you had a good time, pal. Darren says Man United should be getting Barcola. Yeah, mate, no way are we getting Barcola when he's going to cost over £100 million. We've got more chance of scanning a barcode. Good tackle there by Santos. And that'll be a foul. so obvious we're finishing outside the top 4. No. David, look, I'm not happy about the transfer window. I have concerns about next season, but look, if we were 4-0 up against PSG, people would be talking about winning the league. If we get beat 4-0 by PSG, people will be talking about us getting relegated. The reality is neither result gives us any indication of what's happening. We will know after 10 games in the Premier League what our season's probably going to be like. You're not going to learn it from the pre-season. The only thing I would say is it's not been a very good transfer window, which can obviously, cause issues. Sloppy by Luke Shaw. I'd fancy us to get back into this, though. I mean, our fitness levels should be a lot better than theirs. This is only their second game of pre-season. They only played their first game on Wednesday against Mallorca, and they lost 3-0 with pretty much this team. So I was actually expecting United to, and still am expecting United to get quite a comfortable victory here. I didn't watch their game against Mallorca, but by all accounts, it was a very rusty performance. We've played a lot of football, so you'd like to think that some of our fluidity and fitness will come through. Thank you, David, for your super chat. AS says, nice glasses. The red breaks them up. Deliberate, that was. Good play by Lacey. Who's our number 2 now, says Steg. Oh, Delo. Delo's our starting right back. I don't even think it. I don't even suspect anything different to that. How many wins out of the first 10 games? I mean, look, I haven't really delved into it massively because it's still focused on the transfer window. But I'd expect us to beat Hull. I'd expect us to beat Ipswich. Everton away, I actually would expect us to win. City at home will be tough. Fulham away, I mean, could be a draw. So that's 5, but 3 wins. Tottenham at home, I'd fancy us at home. Leeds away could be a draw. Bournemouth at home should be a win. Chelsea away would be tough. And Villa at home. I mean, I think we could win 6 or 7 of our first 10. It's not the first 10 games I'm worried about. It's when the season, when you start to pick up a few injuries and the squad's not as big as it could be. Steg says, I meant number 2 goalkeeper, sorry. Slow Sports News says, Luke will start costing us games. He keeps playing safe options, passing back all the time. He can't keep up with the youngsters and is making errors. Well, I mean, I think Slow Sports News, we're probably thinking the same thing here. I don't want Luke Shaw to be our starting left back. I know, good cut back, just a little bit unlucky. I think Luke Shaw doesn't go forward, is a bit slow, and I just don't think he's good enough to be our starting left back. But I like that. When we get Dorgu into those situations, I like it because he's a natural left footer. Steg says, who is our actual number 2? Oh, you meant the goalkeeper. Yeah, well, it'll be Darlow, won't it now? Heaton is the 3rd choice goalkeeper. I mean, looking at the goal, Mason Mount is in no man's land. Mazraoui's out of position. Aidan Heaven can't really do a hell of a lot. I mean, it's a crappy angle, that replay, but we press high up and then we're out. Everyone's out of position. I've been checking Spurs and Chelsea matches. We're due for a rude awakening, maybe looking one more next season without Europe, says Roosh. Yeah, but you know what? Pre-season for me, I don't worry about it too much. And I think some of those teams have got a difficult start to the season as well. I think top 2 in the Premier League is very easy to predict. Man City or Arsenal. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, very difficult to predict. I mean, I didn't put Man United in the top 4 this time last year. We finished 3rd, so it just shows you, doesn't it? Is Mason Mount hobbling? I don't think so. No. I think he might be struggling a little bit with the pace of the game, but I can't see him on the screen at the moment. Here he is. No, he looks fine. I think he's just trying to play a little bit deeper. He's on the ball at the moment. No, there's no issues there. It's actually quite a good pass. It will go down to consistency and how we deal with injuries compared to other teams, says Killer B. Yeah, and if you think about it, Tottenham had a lot of injuries last season. Tito says, why do you rate Man City so highly without Pep and Rodri? Well, I was talking about this on That's Football actually today, Tito, because apparently Man City are going to go for Enzo Fernandez. And it's a great point. You know, Man City's winning record without, oh my God, Aiden Heaven there. Fucking wild challenge. And it's a good block by Santos. Nearly 2-0. Heaven gets a yellow card. I mean, he absolutely doesn't need to be doing that in pre-season. Fucking hell. I mean, I like Aiden Heaven, but is that just... Fucking hell. I think in a Champions League game, that might have been a red. It was very reckless. And look, I'm not going to criticise Aiden Heaven for that. Some of you might do, but... Like, you do make mistakes when you're kids. You know, you do make mistakes. Harold's Aiden Heaven, he's a teenager. He's going to make mistakes. Rio Ferdinand made loads of mistakes as a teenager. Sulky says, you never mentioned the future Liverpool scorer. We did. It was mentioned about 5 minutes ago, but he's a PSG player at the moment. Good block by Santos, though. What do you think about Arahu for Liverpool? I think as a free signing, a 27-year-old Champions League experienced player who's used to playing for Barcelona is not necessarily the worst signing in the world when you need a cheap centre-back. What happens if we only get 4 points from our first 3 games and this transfer window is only one for me? Definitely we gone backwards, says Mallows. Right, here's Lacey. Good weight of pass into Ahmad. This is where Ahmad's got to be a lot better this season. You see, I think that's where Ahmad's gone wrong. He's slowed his run down and he's got to be more direct. Just allows PSG to get back. Lots of people slagging off MUTV. Glad I don't have to listen to it. They're so good at just intricate little passing, aren't they, PSG? Is our current back four going to be good enough for top 4, says Corbin? I don't massively rate our left back, as you know. I don't massively rate Delo. I think Harry Maguire is approaching the end of his career. And De Ligt, we don't know when he's back. So, you know, it's definitely not Neville, Rio, Vidic and ever, is it? But also I don't think it's the worst centre. I don't think it's the worst defence we've ever had, but, you know, there are vulnerabilities. Good pass there by Santos. But, again, just a little bit of indecision down the right-hand side. Free kick on the edge of the box, Mazraoui. Good little 1-2. So Mazraoui gets the ball here. Plays a 1-2 with Bermo. And probably was a foul on the edge of the box. Maybe Mason Mount. Yeah, that's a foul for me. Mount's off injured already. I mean, I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm fighting 3 words, 4 words. Very, very difficult. You know what? I could sit here with a level of smugness. Good save by the keeper, because I sod it. I'm going to do it. YOLO. I have had it to the back teeth over the last 2 weeks of people telling me that Mason Mount can do a job in the midfield. And literally have sat here with many of you saying the guy has been injured consistently for 3 years. What do you think he's been doing in June? Eating spinach like fucking Popeye? It's still the same person. He's still ridiculously injury prone. And people are like, no, Mason Mount can do a job in the midfield. Pre-season, 20 minutes, off injured, Fletcher's on. You cannot rely on this guy. He's had a good pre-season, but he's injured in pre-season. And look, maybe it's a knock and he'll be back on Wednesday, but it's still proof that 20 minutes into a game, he can walk off the pitch. So, look, you can't, even Beth, who loves Mason Mount, would say you can't trust Mason Mount. You can't trust Mason Mount. It's very, very sad. I told you so. Everybody in the chat saying it, told you so. You can't, but how many people in the live chat have sat there and said, you know, Mason Mount can be a job in the midfield? He can't. He can't. Who goes off after 20 minutes in a pre-season game against PSG? I mean, how bad can you be injured to go off after 20 minutes in a pre-season game? You just wouldn't go off. You wouldn't go off after 20 minutes for a knock. You just wouldn't. Like, I don't know whether anyone's ever played football, but unless you are somebody who has lots of injury problems, you just wouldn't go off after 20 minutes in a pre-season game. You'd think, I'll play till half time, I'll play through it. So it's just sad at this point, as JX says. But you know what? I feel bad for Mason Mount. Every bit of feedback I've ever had about him is that he's a nice lad and all that. What annoys me is all the fans over the last month who've been saying he's a good player, he can do a good job. Simon Stone wrote a fucking article on it a couple of weeks ago. Is Mason Mount solving the midfield problem? No, he fucking isn't. Because if you had half a brain, you'd look at his injury record and you'd go, he's about as reliable as a cardboard canoe, as I said the other day. I am not getting in that canoe. Come on, get in the cardboard canoe. It's like making a boat out of cardboard and saying, we're going from Southampton to New York. Who's jumping on board? No, I'm fucking not. Absolutely not. But look at it. It looks really nice. Yeah, but it's made of bloody cardboard. I'm not getting on it. Oh, I thought we'd scored there. So I'm not even disappointed. It's just ridiculous that people actually thought Mason Mount could be a solution in the midfield. And if you're not, don't go and buy a fucking midfielder now. They're morons. It could be a silver lining. And look, honestly, I think it could be a silver lining because the fact that he's gone off so early against PSG in pre-season, imagine if he'd stayed fit all through pre-season in the first 3 games, and then in September, he goes off with a knock and he's out for a month. At least we know he's still a player that gets injuries, because I think that was the big thing, wasn't it? In fairness, a lot of people were going, well, maybe he doesn't get injured anymore. Maybe the miracle's happened. Well, he does still get injured. He does still get injured, doesn't he? Because he's gone off. So get a midfielder. Sign a new midfielder. So there is a silver lining that he's picked up a knock in pre-season, because that's about right, isn't it? He very rarely lasts. I think on average it's 3 games and he's injured. So it's absolutely spot on. Here's Lacey, good recovery. Declan says, I'm glad he's injured. Forced to buy a midfielder now. Robert McCormack said, they said he jogged off, but I didn't see it. In fairness, Robert, I think it probably is a knock because a couple of people in the live chat said he was hobbling, and I think they probably took him off precautionary because it seemed to be a foot problem. It didn't look like it was the normal problem, so it looks like it's something new. So they probably took him off as a precaution, but if you're taking somebody off after 20 minutes in pre-season for a precaution, he's made of glass. You just can't. No one's going to trust that now. No one's going to trust that. I think Carrick knew that was the plan all along, says JBS. Ashley says, I only came to see Mark's reaction to the Mount injury. Look, as I've said, honestly, I feel bad for Mason Mount. Apparently he's a nice lad. It's the morons in our fan base that have been telling us for the last 3 weeks, and you know they're there. Give Mount some credit, Mark. He can be a solution in the midfield. Back off, you bloody morons. Can't be the bloody solution, can he? He's always bloody injured. Just look at this last phase of play. Luke Shaw had acres of space to run into, but literally jogging with the ball. Maguire and Shaw are just not suited to this style of play. Poor movement, says Sahaj. Behind our midfield, I think our fullbacks are the worst area of the team, says Reese. Delo is arguably worse than Shaw. Reese, we had this conversation in May. I mean, obviously some of you will be long-term United Stand viewers. Some of you might be new. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, get involved with the channel. We had this chat in May. Everyone's talking about the midfield. I think low-key, our fullbacks are a huge problem. They don't get forward. They don't create. They're not particularly good. So fullbacks for me are a massive thing. So Jim says Smugbridge. I mean, it's always nice when you get proven right. You know, I'm not going to deny that. I mean, isn't it nice when you win? You know, isn't it nice when, you know, good things happen to you or you get proven right? I knew I was going to get proven right, but it's not just me. I'd say 90% of our fan base knew Mason Mount's not the solution to Man United's midfield problem. And I'd rather he got injured now than after the transfer window's closed. Look, we still might not buy a midfielder, but they're idiots if they don't. As Dial says, at least they might fucking spend now. Just go and get Kone. It's that obvious that we need him, says Dale. How much did you pay PSG to injure him, Mark, says Lex? I don't think it was a challenge. I don't know. They said he jogged off Robert. Need to buy a midfielder now, as Mount was fourth choice, as everything Carpi. And I hope the injury is something positive. At least now the board will go get a panic buy. We all predicted this, Mark, says STH. Good cross by Dorgu. Keeper jumps on it. Actually, I'd argue in pre-season game, any slight discomfort, you'd come off because you don't want to risk a real injury, what we're told in college, says Aryan. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Aryan, everybody gets a knock. Everybody gets a bang. You play on, don't you? The fact that he's had to come off for precaution means that he doesn't feel he can carry on anyway. If your foot gets trodden on and hurts a little bit, you'd play on. So there's obviously something there that they've gone, right, it's not worth the risk. No point of fighting to speak 4 words now, Mark, says Rishab. The accountants back at Carrington will be fuming. They thought they got away with not buying a third midfielder, says Shane. 50 million Sanderberg panic buy now, says Anthony Tracy. Could be a blessing in disguise, says Joe. We might now move on a centre midfielder. Thank you very much. Captain T1 says, 100% agree. He needs to go before the others do. And Devon says, I think Mbermo misplaces too many passes. I just don't think he's a striker. Devon. That's the problem. Blessing in disguise, says Niki. Keep thinking Mazraoui is Mbermo, says Ross. Mount hurt again. We need 2 more midfielders, says United since. Lekeba in, says Alan Casey. And Mbermo looking for a free kick there. I don't think it was. Snoopy says, I hope you've enjoyed off-season. West Ham versus Portsmouth to kick off the new season, says Snoopy 10. Is that Carabao Cup, Snoopy? What do I get from Tuesday as a member? Yeah, Garfield, we've got something really big to announce on Tuesday. But you know what? Fuck it. I'll announce it to you today, 3 days early, and get in trouble. Not going to tell you. Nice try. Is our current back 4 going to be good enough for top 4? We've done that from Corbin. Thank you. Jack, thanks for the super chat. Do you think we'll sign a new centre midfielder, says Sean? I've always thought we would do. What about Casado from Barcelona, says Kaifu? I mean, I like the idea of Kone or Stiller or Scott or Enmika or even Bergvall. That's where I want us to go. How likely is Carrick to put Bruno in the midfield and Cunha in the 10 to make space for Rashford? Says Damien. Oh, mate, we can't go back to Bruno in the midfield. And we won't go back to Bruno in the midfield because it wouldn't work. We need a fourth midfielder. We don't need a starting midfielder per se because you've got Mainu, Tillemans and Santos. We need a fourth midfielder. I don't know how you'd get Bruno into the midfield now because you'd have to bench Mainu and Tillemans and play him with Santos. Ondron says, if Luke Shaw gets a knock now, it's a successful pre-season. Yeah, I didn't say that. So half an hour gone. I mean, look, this is basically PSG's second team. United, for me, probably have been slightly on top or an equal game. It was a very good goal by PSG. It reminds me a bit of the Atletico game last week, really, where they scored a good goal and then it was mainly us. Remember, we will see Tillemans and Bruno second half. Sloppy pass there. Here's Mbermo, 3v3. Into Ahmad. Terrible pass. Sloppy pass. And Ahmad's... Fucking hell. Ahmad's decision-making has got to improve. There's a... You know what it is with Ahmad? I'm a big fan of Ahmad, but he's lost the... If you watch someone like Kvaratskhelia, he's one of the best in the world. He gets the ball, he knows what he's going to do. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I'm going to do this. I think Ahmad gets the ball and overthinks it. He's like, what am I going to do? And he ends up losing the ball. He's got to get the ball and go, my aim is to get a cross in. My aim is to get a shot off. Mbermo came back from the World Cup with a 5-kilogram bonus pack, says Gosh. Goal! Dorgu! Mbermo! Goal! There you go. Slagged him off at the wrong time there, didn't you? Gosh. Oh, gosh. We got a goal there. It must have been a defensive mistake by PSG. Someone said it's offside. I haven't even seen the goal. Yeah. Bit sloppy. Good interception by Ahmad. This is what I mean. Make the decision. Slips it into Mbermo. Good finish. Good goal. Well onside. Well onside. Don't know what you're talking about offside. But this was good. Ahmad wins the ball. Plays the right pass. Mbermo on his left foot. Good finish. That's a good goal. And that's what happens when you press high up the pitch. You can pop onto mistakes like PSG made there. Slip it into Mbermo. Bottom corner. Lovely finish. 1-1. Gosh, can you do another super chat slagging someone off? Because we'll probably score again. Red says, what's happened to Diego Leon? I don't know. I don't know. A to win says it's an imagination issue for Ahmad. No cutting edge. He did well there. And who do you want as permanent manager instead of Carrick, says Stacey? I'm not playing that game, Stacey. Carrick's the manager. I support the manager. It wasn't the manager I wanted, but I said when he got the job, I would back the manager. I'm not talking about other managers now. Our manager is Carrick. Mark G33, welcome to Members Club. Thank you. Sky Sports have put something out about Mason Mount. Are you going to tell us what it is, Stephen? Lake on the Moon says Dorgu displaces more passes and ruins our attacks than Mbermo. Personally, I hate seeing Dorgu up top. Go by quality, says Lake on the Moon. Lucas, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. And Jack Gregory, thank you very much. Do you think it's a make or break season for Ahmad, says James? Yes. Look, Ahmad and Mbermo didn't do particularly well under Carrick. They were two of the few that didn't. So I do think it's a very big season for Ahmad. And he's got the ball here down the right-hand side. And he almost did a very good pass into Dorgu there. So no, I think Ahmad is the sort of player that could. He's got to increase his inputs. Sorry, he's got to increase his output on goals and assists. He's definitely capable of doing it, and I hope he can do it. Daniel Thompson says, I feel sorry for Mason Mount, but I was expecting it. Unfortunately, it's another presentation of the incompetence from the disgraceful board. They have no excuses anymore. A midfielder is absolutely essential, says Daniel. And User says, for all the negativity, this team is playing some top-notch football. But there is no negativity, mate. You're a troll, mate. You're so close that you haven't been removed. Because I know, can I just say, User 66, you try to be a clever troll. You are blatantly a troll. Like 9 out of 10 of your comments are just full of shit and antagonistic. Who's being negative about this game? No one. Not sure if anyone has said it, but Mbermo is shocking, says Greg. Just scored a goal. Oh, I think it's reverse psychology. Would love Kone or Hall to come in. Both Keaton would be great. Mr. Tomo, welcome to the Members Club. Maguire to CDM, his passing ability could dictate, says Jack. Worst comment of the century. Dorgu should have had a shot. Plays it into Luke Shaw. Not a bad cross. Oh. Why didn't Ahmad saying he was fouled? Why did I just tune into MUTV and the commentators just said Maguire is embarrassed Kvaratskhelia today by dribbling past him the whole game? Oh, just don't watch MUTV, Pyrex. It's, well, you've got to watch it to watch the game, but don't listen. 10 minutes to go to half time. A lot of people talking about Mason Mount. I'm just trying to see. It looks like it's a foot injury. Now, most of Mason Mount's problems come from the pelvic area. So just having a look at it. It looks like it's foot. I'm just looking at a clip as he comes off. Another free kick for United here. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird injury. Could be like a metatarsal or something like that. Yeah, I can't see anything about what it is at the moment. Another free kick for United, right on the edge of the box. No Mason Mount, so I think Mbermo is going to take this one. Great save by the keeper. Good free kick by Mbermo. Well, I say great save. It might have been a standard save, but he made him make the save. Good free kick. I'd like to see it again. Yeah, up and over the wall. I mean, it's a comfortable set. One for the cameras by the keeper, but worked in, which is what it's all about. What about Javi as a potential target, says Gene. Wake up. Gomez at Liverpool and Mount are the same, injury prone, and both clubs believe things can suddenly change. Everyone knows except the clubs. And another one was Naby Keita at Liverpool, says Havard Edge. Maguire. Oh! Santos over the bar from about 2 yards out, but I think he'd given a foul anyway. Nearly a goal. Can United go straight to Argentina for players, says Alan. Zabiani looks like a really tall hobbit, says Sahaj. Have you seen Brownie's YouTube video where he spends the day with Mbermo, elite professional off-season, and with UFC training helping him protect the ball, says Niki. Not seen that at all. I think Mbermo does put a lot of work into his fitness, though. Took his goal. Well, this is what I mean. Look, Mberme scored last week. He scored again. I just don't like him as a striker. But he can score goals in that situation. Is it McFred in the midfield? I'm watching on my phone, says Jeff. Mate, I watched PSG. This should be 2. This should be 2. Cut it back. Oh, who cut that back? Ahmad's fucked that up. That should have easily have been 2. Still got it on the attack. Fletcher. Ahmad again. No. Ahmad's moaning at Lacey, but I'm sorry. I think that's a cutback for you, mate, there. I don't think that's... I don't know how that's Lacey's fault there. I think Lacey's in exactly the right position. I think he's got to get that. Chris says, I watched... Oh, hold on, another corner for United here. Oh, I thought Maguire was going to score. Chris Morse, thanks very much for your super chat. He says, I watched Sky Sports talk about our ownership. It was pure propaganda. Thank you for being honest. Thank you very much. Yeah, look, going back to that previous comment as well, look, the mainstream media won't talk about the Man United ownership. I don't know why. Maybe they won't get access or something. But, yeah, I watched highlights of Man United PSG on MUTV before this, when Fred was playing in the midfield. And it is a little bit weird because the quality is not the best on MUTV, and you can see a number 17 running around, and the mind does play tricks. But hopefully Santos is going to be a lot better than Fred. I mean, Fred wasn't shit. It just wasn't good enough. Ahmad shot straight at the keeper. We've definitely been the better team in the first half, and I said that in the preview. We should be the better team in the second half because it's not a brilliant PSG side. Santos, by the way, been impressive, says Arjen. Yes, he's been very impressive. He's a good passer and a strong tackler, says Sheras. Thank you very much. Millwall's goalkeeper saved all 4 penalties, says Pure Turnips. Lake on the Moon's going on about Dorgu again. Says he's got no right foot. Nicky, no chairs, says, cheers, Mark in the United stand. While bringing the ball out from the back, Santos' forward passing has me optimistic. He's making intelligent choices. Well, he's got probably one of the best I've ever seen to learn from in Michael Carrick. Thumbs up or down sending Delo and Xerxes for Bisek to Milan, says David. David, let the chat talk about it. I've got to be honest. We've had such a pathetic transfer window. I don't actually want to play hypothetical situations that will never happen. We've got a real transfer window, and we need to operate in that. We're never going to get Delo and Xerxes out for Bisek from Milan. It's just never going to happen. Gene says, fair play to Fletcher. Not noticed him at all, but that's not always a bad thing. Which Fletcher's on? I get mixed up. Is this the one that went to the World Cup or the other one? And this is the terrible thing about the Fletchers. I don't even know who's who. Which shows you what sort of an impact they have. Because I always knew who Gary and Phil Neville were. I never know who's who. This is the one who didn't go to the World Cup. Okay. No, this is Tyler. He went to the World Cup, says GGMU. This is the good one. Do you think Dorgu's a left back? No. No. I think we've got to be careful with Dorgu, because if we don't figure out what he is, he could be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Thank you, everybody, tuning in. Please do subscribe to the channel. United won, PSG won. Very similar sort of theme to the Atletico Madrid game, actually, where they scored early and then we've had a lot of the ball and deservedly got back into the game. Which is what many of us sort of predicted, because we played a lot more pre-season games than them and we've got a lot stronger team than them. It'll be interesting in the second half to see what subs they make, because they do have Vitinha, Neves, Mendes, Marquinhos who can come on. We've obviously got Bruno and Tielemans. It'd be nice to see them come on. Obviously didn't bring Tielemans on for Mount because the plan will be to give him 45 minutes, and if you bring him on too early, you got to take him off. I think bringing Fletcher on is probably because Fletcher's had a lot more of a pre-season. Crazy to say Dorgu was better on the right, says Lex. Well, a lot of teams do play inverted wingers, don't they? Sam says, I can't believe we're going into another season with Delot, Shaw, Maguire and Rashford. It's like we're stuck in a constant shitty time loop. Good finish by Mbermo. Only 1 minute being added on here. Christine, it is the PSG reserves. I mean, Hakimi's not there, Marquinhos is not there, Mendes is not there, Vitinha is not there, Neves is not there, Ruiz is not there, Zaire Emery's not there, Barcola's not there, Doué's not there, I feel like there's somebody else, Dembele is not there. So, yeah, 10 of their starters not there. And it is half-time. Let me stop the clock. Well, what were your thoughts on that at half-time? United had... Well, we've had less than 50% possession. I thought we'd have had about 60% possession. I'll go back to that for a moment. Look, we have created a couple of good chances because of the high press again. And I want to see us stick with the high press. Of course, I take on board that their goal came from the fact that they played through the high press and exploited the back four. But it's far more interesting on the eye to see a team press high than sit back and counter. So we've scored because of the high press where they made a mistake, and we've conceded because of the high press. So I think it cancels it out. Other than that, obviously quite an equal game actually. We've had slightly more shots on target and altogether. But possession-wise, passing-wise, pretty much the same, really. So, yeah, look, not dreadful by any stretch of the imagination. Remember, it is only PSG's second game of pre-season. They played their first one on Wednesday and lost 3-0. It is also their reserve side, so we have to take that into account as well. So, look. Let me just swap this one out. Let me know your thoughts. Of course, I'm going to talk about Mason Mount. Somebody just said in the chat there. And yeah, look, in relation to Mason Mount, we don't know the severity of the injury. My suspicion always is, until proven otherwise, that, you know, any injury could be minor. So I'm not really massively, you know, thinking it's going to be a long-term thing. However, whether he's out for 3 days or 3 weeks, it's still Mason Mount going off injured. Precautionary. Does it make any difference if it's precautionary or it's a season ender? It doesn't make any difference, does it? Because he's still going off injured, which is basically what his career is. What most of us are saying is you cannot rely or trust Mason Mount as anything in a Man United side. He can't be your fourth choice midfielder. He can't be your second number 10. He can't be anything because he's not reliable enough. He is a bonus. If Mason Mount's fit, use him, but don't use him as part of the squad because there's no point. There's no point. So I would use it as a silver lining. Hopefully the injury isn't that bad and hopefully he's back for Leeds. But if we hear any bollocks about it's just precautionary is a massive part of our season, they're idiots. They have to listen. They have to listen. They have to look at the facts. They have to listen and go and sign a midfielder. If they want to use Mason Mount throughout the season, absolutely fine. Let's hope he stays fit. But don't use him as the fourth midfielder because we will get really, really fucked over. So, look, I'd be stunned if they haven't figured it out for themselves. But if today helps them figure it out, good. It's a silver lining. So hopefully it's not a bad injury. But it's ironic that the player going off after 20 minutes injured is Mason Mount because it just backs up what we've all been saying. We need to buy a fourth midfielder because you can't rely on Mason Mount. It's as simple as that. So, look, and predominantly the problems that he has had has been around pelvic issues, etc. It looks like something to do with his foot. So, you know, it could be just something completely nothing to do with that. But I don't know whether he got trodden on or it was a tackle. Maybe some of you know. But from the footage I've seen, he seemed to be pointing to his right foot. So maybe he's just felt something in his foot or something. But look, we need a fourth midfielder. Mason Mount, if fit, adds to the squad. But if we don't buy a fourth midfielder, it's a problem. Just go and buy a fourth midfielder. Stephen with a very provocative comment here. I will read it because it's a super chat. Mark, you're the best content creator on YouTube. Thank you very much. Steve Howard says, surely this dispels any notion that Mount is our third midfielder. Well, you'd hope so, Steve. Mainu is way more important than Mount, says Skeets. Can you convince my girlfriend, Madison, to let me watch the football, says Annie. Madison, let him watch the fucking football. It's 10 to 5 in the afternoon. You've still got all evening with him. Let him watch the bloody football, Madison. Mark my words, Santos is the new Fred, says Kyrox. Plays like him, wears the same number, and will be an elite midfielder. I thought that was going to be a negative. Okay, I can live with that. User66 says, might be unpopular, but I personally think the Man United midfielder has absolutely no legs nor nowhere near enough stamina to press the way we've been for the entirety of the whole season. Maybe you're not a troll. I don't know. I can't answer that. I can't answer that. No, James Madison's not his girlfriend. Madison can be a female's first name. Look, has our midfield got enough legs? We don't know who the fourth midfielder is. We haven't seen Tillemans yet. We know Mainu's a little bit slow, but Santos hasn't played a competitive game yet. So I don't think you can decide either way whether we've got enough legs and energy in the midfield. But we're going to need energy if we're going to play a high-pressing game, and I want us to play a high-pressing game. Mbermo has some nice free kicks, should take them, says Just Pasty. I bet Mount's injury still won't convince the board to buy another midfielder, says Phil. And Oishan says, probably a horrible comment. Is the Mount injury almost good news? It's not a horrible comment, mate. As a United fan, your loyalty is to Manchester United. We're not a charity. And we're not Player FC. It would be a horrible comment if you said, I hope he's broken his leg and is out for the season. It's not a horrible comment if you say, look, he's only out for a couple of days, but it proves we can't rely on Mason Mount. I don't think it's a horrible comment then, because it's a warning, isn't it? The club shouldn't need it anyway. Anthony Robinson and a DM can get us top 6, says Desiree. I mean, I would hope we're going to get top 6 without anything, really. I was hoping we were going to kick on from 3rd. Best signing in years has been Mazraoui, says Jack, Mr. Consistent. Ryan says, did you hear the MUTV? Well, I don't hear the MUTV presenter because I don't hear MUTV. Thankfully, I don't listen to it. But Ryan says, did you hear the MUTV presenter saying United have a wealth of options in centre midfield before the game? Shocking what the club are trying to feed out. Right, Ryan, I don't mind doing this. If you work for MUTV, you are a Glazer puppet. I'm sorry. Some of these people will be good people, but you are a Glazer puppet. You are spinning propaganda for the worst thing to happen to this football club in the Premier League era. Because if you're spouting bollocks like that for a paycheck, that's up to you, isn't it? Scott is more likely now. Scott, if Mount is hurt, says Kieran. I don't know that Alex Scott is likely at all because the price will still put us off. Kone is still a possibility. Love me for a reason. Let the reason be love. Crazy to say Dorgu's better on the right like Yamal, says Lexi. Look, I think in relation to Dorgu, he's almost that player at the moment in the fan base that sort of is the big topic, isn't he? I don't think he's a left back. I disagree with Stormfather Dalliner. I think the best we've seen of Dorgu has been that period in January before the injury. Pre-season is not competitive. I don't really think that Santos has been really good in pre-season, but until he plays a competitive game, he could be shit. And Dorgu in pre-season's been a bit off, but when we start playing competitive games, he could be brilliant again. So I don't really have any concerns about Santos or Dorgu. I don't. I think when the season starts is when we start judging these players. But the best we've seen from Dorgu is an attacking sense. And I for one was very excited when he came back. I think he was a huge loss to that early Carrick time. So what do you think about Heaven, Mark? I don't think Heaven and Maguire have been particularly tested, to be fair. And I like Heaven. He's probably it was a tasty tackle on. Well, he got a yellow card, didn't he? But he's he's a big part of our future, Heaven. And I like the fact that, and a lot of people were saying last season, why is he not getting more game time? Decent price paid, Kone, Scott, Berg, or an alternative, says Jack. I'd be happy with Kone or Scott. I don't want Sander Berg. What's your thoughts on Mbermo? Scores goals, but can be frustrating, says Matt. Look, honestly, might get pelters for this. Shouldn't do, because I'm a big fan of Ahmad. Mbermo we paid £65 million for Mbermo. And when we spent £65 million on him, I presumed it was because of what he did at Brentford. And what he did at Brentford was play right wing. We've never given him a run of games in the position I thought we bought him for. So I want to see Mbermo have a run of games on the right wing. We spent £65 million on him. We played him as a number 10 and a striker. I just want to see him have a run of games on right wing. So I would bench Ahmad and I would give Mbermo a run of games at right wing. I like Mbermo. I do not like him up front. And he will score you goals, but I don't like him up front. Glory, Man United, says user. Welcome to the members club, R.R. Ryan. Tillemans will be player of the season, says Skeet. Kyrox says you read it wrong. He is not what we need. What, Fred? Santos? Excited for win, lose or draw this season, says LFC. And evidence that we need one more midfielder, says Spencer. Andre says, I think that pre-season is about ideas and potential. The potential I see in Santos is big, and I like the patterns of play, but it's just pre-season. How have we played, Mark, says Eggy. I mean, just to sort of combine two comments together, I think Andre's right. I think we've played quite well across pre-season. We've seen something a little bit different. I think Carrick parked the bus and countered to get his third place. And in pre-season, we've definitely tried to press higher up the pitch. It's a little bit more like what Amrin was doing and what Carrick did against Man City and Arsenal before we seemed to lose the legs to do it. So it's go. But I do agree with what somebody said. If we are going to press high up, we are going to need to run a lot this season. And to run a lot, you need a lot of players that can run. And I look at the squad and I think we've only got one left back. We've only got two right backs. We've got a bit of problems at centre back. We've only got three midfielders. Have we got a team that can play the way we've played in pre-season twice a week? It's going to be interesting. So I go back to my default. It's been a pathetic transfer window. But I think we've done all right in pre-season, Eggy, in answer to that. It's just how sustainable it will be, because it's definitely a very energetic style of play. It'll be another season fight against relegation, says Riff. We've never had a season fighting against relegation, so how can we have another one? Thank you very much. Time for a stretch. The real loser if Rashford in the first team is Dorgu. Rashford starts or is on the bench, and fans will scrutinise Dorgu's play on the wing. Can't develop young players, says Big Timer. Well, it's true, isn't it? We're bringing a 28-year-old back who will be 29 in October, which will probably stunt a 21-year-old's career. Connor says, I'm just glad this Mount injury didn't happen in September. I think Tom Heaton can compete for the spot. What? Just Pasty says, I think Tom Heaton can compete for the first team spot. Yeah, and I can compete for with Bruno. Get me up there. Decent price paid, done that one. I love this pressing with 4 when teams build up, holding 2 in the midfield, forcing teams to go long. Just need an energetic midfield, says Jonathan. Stephen Willock says you just about killed the dog, Mark. I didn't go anywhere near the dog. Check out my Instagram. Real loser if Rash done that one from Big Timer. Thank you very much for that. We need pace and power in the midfield. We have technique with Menu, Santos and Tillemans. Elsewhere, does Cunha play now? Like how we're winning the ball up the pitch, says Mohak. Cunha's not part of the squad today, by the way. He's another one I forgot about. I can't remember why Cunha and Lemens aren't here, but they're not. Looks like Xerxes might be coming on at half-time. United since 83. Welcome to the Members Club. Thank you. But I do agree with Mohak. I do think that when you look at that Man United midfield, it does lack a little bit of pace, if we're being honest. Illness for Cunha. We do lack a little bit of intensity and speed. Delo's on for the second half. Early spot there. Definitely can see Delo. Might be the only one. Doesn't look like PSG are making any changes. I'll correct that. No, they are definitely making one change. Delo on for Mazraoui, says Matt. Luke Shaw's just having a wash. Bruno's not coming on yet. Oh, Yoro's coming on. Yoro's on as well, probably for Heaven. That press will go away after the first few games. Did with Ten Hag. People can glorify pre-season, but they try these in friendlies and then cave when the season begins. I think that's a very good point by Kyrox. I do. I think you make a very, 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 very good point. I never forget Ten Hag's first summer in Asia. We were pinging the ball about. We looked really, really good. It was Gomez and Chong who were doing well in pre-season, and it just got abandoned very, very quickly, didn't it? And the problem Carrick will have is if Carrick tries something new, like a high press, and we lose a game, everyone will start going like they did with Amrim. He needs to go back to what works. He needs to go back to what the players like. You know, he needs to go back to a more compact way of playing and counter-attacking. And that'll be it. That'll be it. Second half's up and running. PSG 1, Man United 1. Let me talk to you about substitutions at half-time, because there has been some, but not many. Delo and Yoro on for Heaven and Mazraoui. And Ayari for PSG has gone off, and Njantu is on, who looks like an interesting player. I'm going to tell you something about him because I can. He's only 19 years old, and he plays as a forward winger. Like just another Dembele, Doué, Barcola. Yeah, so keep an eye out for him. The number 47. Fletcher looks rubbish. Look, you're never going to catch me slating young players, Muaz. And I don't like how people do. But what I would say about the Fletchers is I don't know who's who. And I don't know what they do. And that needs to change if they're going to have a future in a Man United shirt. Because you can't be going who's who. Like I said, I knew who Gary Neville was and I knew who Phil Neville was. And I think for the Fletchers, we need to start to understand who they are and what they do. Well, just boots it out. If in doubt, boot it out. Kyrox says, we also have Rashford, who we know won't press. I think Heaton's done his hamstring here as well. Fucking hell. How does a goalkeeper do his bloody well, that's how they do it. Well, he's definitely coming off. Just tuned in, says Tobias. Was Mount subbed with an injury? Yes. Corbin says, we'll press the same as last season. If we were to get another midfielder, would you want an out-and-out 6? I think we need somebody, as has been briefed, we need somebody with intensity and speed who can tackle. I mean, Tom Heaton shouldn't be pulling his hamstring doing that, but he is probably about 40 now, isn't he? Mount didn't even make the first game. Here we go, Berg, says Magic. I don't think Sander Berg... Look, I might be completely wrong on this, but I don't get the feeling Sander Berg is advanced or even close. 6 year and 4 months here. That's absolutely crazy. So great to see how far you've come, says Man United Hodge. Get ready for Tuesday, mate. That loyalty as a member is going to mean a lot. Very excited. Mark, everyone with a brain wants the Glazers out, but yet it seems impossible. With the team we have now, how do you think Champions League will go? I mean, I'm looking forward to the Champions League, Braden. I mean, whether it's Aston Villa, Newcastle last season, it's exciting for them. So for us to be back in it, it's exciting. But the big thing is we've got to stay in it. Heaton's off here as well. Why is United not signing Boadi? Says Riff, because we won't pay. I'd rather Ayari Gomez over Baleba. Guy's awful, says GMAC. Thank you very much for your super chats today. And thanks everybody who has subscribed to the channel. So we've had a goalkeeper change here. Heaton goes straight down the tunnel as well. Off to see Mason. It's me in goal, isn't it? Not literally me, but what's his name? Me. Another foul there. It's gone a bit stop-start. But, oh, you know, I think Leeds on Wednesday will be a very tenacious game, actually. I mean, Leeds beat Liverpool, didn't they, last week from 2-0 down. They came back and beat them 4-2. So I think Leeds will be certainly utilising pre-season in a very competitive way. And it'll be a good crowd in Dublin as well. So next pre-season game is going to be decent. I'm sure Amorim will want to do well against us. I mean, I don't think AC Milan are that good, but so the next 2 games should be a step up from these games, which, you know, wasn't the best Atletico Madrid side. It's not the best PSG side either. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do share the video and make sure you subscribe. The biggest and best football community. And it's about to get a lot bigger on Tuesday. Very, very excited. Can you show us the lineup? Sorry, it's I'll start it up now. There you go. Thanks for asking. Yeah, we'll see Tielemans and Bruno. I would imagine because it's their first pre-season game. Doesn't want to give them 45 minutes, probably half an hour, which means on Wednesday, I wouldn't expect to see, I might not see Rashford or Mainu at all, actually, but if we did, probably not a lot. Just got back from work, Mark. How are we playing? To Stanley. Okay. Stephen said, can you show the lineup? Ideally, how many more signings do you think we need? Ideally, 3 or 4. Certainly a backup striker, definitely a midfielder and a left back, and ideally, I'd still love a right back. Do we know if the Mount injury is bad, says Dari? I mean, you wouldn't know anyway. You wouldn't know anyway, but I don't think it looked particularly bad. I think it was more, you know, a bit of a knock. Danny and Dorian, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. And Luke as well. Welcome to the Members Club. Get ready for Tuesday. Just Pasty saying, laugh at the guy who said Tom first team. It was you. And maybe started early. And relying on Mount is like Tuchel relying on Reece James, says Jack. Max says the Fletchers are there because their old man is part of the gang. Simple as that. Yeah, but you can't have that nepotism. That's ridiculous. The thing I would say about the Fletchers is physically they're ready, aren't they? They're big. I mean, that Fletcher is a lot taller than Santos. So physically you can see, a bit like McTominay, you know, they have got the physicality, which sometimes you get very good technical players, young players, but they're just not physically ready. I think with the Fletchers, you can see that they are both physically ready. And maybe that's why they're ahead of others at the moment. Bring back an Arna, says Riff. Welcome to the Members Club, Dan, the only one, and the United Corner 1 as well. And Max says, the fact our iconic number 7 shirt is hanging up in the changing room more than out on the pitch is a joke. It just feels like we've retired the number 7 shirt over the last decade, doesn't it? Which is wrong. Hi, Mark. What positives do you take pre-season games? Tactically, do you see any upgrades? Says STHAM. Look, yes, I do. I do take some positives from pre-season in the way that we've played. We've definitely tried to press the opposition high up the pitch when they've got the ball, which is something we didn't do last season under Carrick. However, I do think there is also a fair point to say, when the season starts, do we just go back to how we were? Well, we shouldn't do, because here's Mbeumo. That long diagonal. Good save. Long diagonal by Maguire. We're going to look. We love that. Luke Shaw, terrible first touch, but Dorgu gets it back. Yeah, and also, first 2 games of the season, Hull Ipswich. You would think we won't sit back against them. So there is positives in the way that we've played, a little bit different to last season where it was counter-attack. Hopefully we will take that into the new season as well. Positivity, I think Santos has been better signing than we initially thought, but today shows his depth, says David. To sign players over 50 million, Sir Jim has to insert his card and PIN number, but unfortunately Sir Jim can't remember what the PIN number is. Who's put that cross in there? Was that Lacey? Jack says, Ineos not backing Carrick will cost us. Ahmad into Delo, who stopped the run. Very fearful if Rashford plays, he doesn't track back, and with Shaw behind him, it will mean that our left side is going to be a real problem, says Detox. Well, if Rashford's going to be in this team, he's going to have to work hard, whatever the system, whether it's a high press or it's a counter, you've got to work. You have to. Boss Ryan, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Ineos. There we go. Thank you. Well, 4 more minutes and we should start to see some changes. Be nice to get a little look at Tielemans. Get them compilation clips going. Which player in the world would be your number 7, says Ryan? I mean, I know he likes wearing number 8, but I actually think Bruno Fernandes would be a good number 7. Other than that, you'd probably have to buy one in. And the perfect number 7 for Man United... I actually think, you know what, if we'd bought Elliot Anderson and he'd ended up being a bit of a Robson, which is a big ask, he could have been a number 7. The number 7 doesn't have to be a winger or a goal scorer. They can be like a midfielder. Not a holding midfielder. I think you've got to be someone who can do it all box to box. But another player down here. Dorgu this time. What about Noosa? I would like Noosa, but I wouldn't be handing him the number 7 shirt. I mean, I think if you were going to buy a player and give them the number 7 shirt, I think you'd be looking at someone like Vinicius Jr. or someone like that. Rashford or Cunha at left wing, which would you prefer? Well, I'd prefer Cunha and Rashford move on. I think we all would prefer that. But who do I think it will be? I think he'll pick Rashford. Anderson is trash. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be saying that if he'd signed for Man United, would you? I understand why you're saying it because he signed for City, but I don't change my mind on people I think are good just because they signed for a rival. You know, I think we should have bought Fabinho. When Liverpool bought him, I thought it was a good signing. I'm surprised no one's gone for Noosa, but maybe Leipzig have said you're not going this summer. 999 says, I know this sounds bad, but could Mount's injury potentially mean we look to bring in another midfielder? Sounds like an echo, 999, because we've spoken about this at half-time, and you're not the only one to say that, so I wouldn't be worried about it. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as it's not a severe injury for Mount, I think we'd all say, I'd like him to go off injured so we buy another midfielder. What about Bellingham as a 7? Oh, yeah. Someone like that would be great. Nothing's up, Brady. Hope you're well. Are you doing an 8 o'clock show? Yes, we're live at 8. I probably won't do a match reaction tonight and do an 8 o'clock show. Remember between 2006 and 18 when Arsenal were replaying the loan for their stadium, they were buying mediocre players and happy to just qualify for the Champions League. Feels like we're in that same situation, says Lal. Yeah, but we've not even started building the fucking stadium yet. I mean, I don't think that's the way to go anyway, but we haven't even bloody started building it yet, so why are we going cheap? You know what I'm saying? PSG. Ooh, not a bad shot there by the sub for PSG, number 47, who I can't remember his name. Side netting. Yeah, PSG have got Vitinha, Neves, Mendes, and Marquinhos on the bench. I'm sure they'll probably give something. Somebody said Luke Shaw's gone down. I don't think he has. Oh, here they are. Mendes, Vitinha, Neves, Marquinhos, all coming on for PSG. Obviously, it's their first minutes of pre-season, but not a bad 4 players to bring on. Back-to-back Champions League winners. Arguably the best left-back in the world. One of the best centre-backs in the world. And 2 of the best midfielders in the world. You'd suspect Tielemans will be coming on soon as well. And Bruno. João Neves. I mean, you can't argue with João Neves picking PSG over Man United. He's literally won 2 Champions Leagues, but that was a player that we were looking at. And of course, we helped them out by bringing in Agate. Here is Bruno and Tielemans. Well, be interesting now. Man United are about to make 4 subs as well. I think the other Fletcher's coming on. Xerxes coming on. Tillemans is coming on. And Bruno's coming on. And as we've seen today, you can pick up injuries in pre-season. AJ, welcome to the Members Club. Dale, welcome to the Members Club as well. I think a lot of people are joining the Members Club in anticipation for Tuesday. And trust me, it's not a bad idea. We have a lot of players who look bad one moment and wonderful the next. Dorgu, Mbermo, Heaven Delo. Mbermo not great all around, but scores. It's weird, says Sheras. Classless hoping for an injury. This is his career, says Jared. Jared, listen to what people said. They're saying it could be a silver lining, Mason Mount going off injured. And I don't think he's going to be sat there crying with us saying it when he's been injured for 3 years. As long as it's not a really bad injury, which it won't be, I don't think it's a bad thing that he's out with a knock, showing United they need to buy a midfielder. Superb Don is a truck driver watching from the US. Honk, honk. Is that the right side in the US? Don't know. Yeah, even got the side right. Love that. Hope you're doing well. Let us know where you're watching from, everybody. Tyler, welcome to the Members Club. Finn says, thoughts on Kone if we don't get Roma Kone? We've got no chance, mate. He's on loan at Luzon. He's hardly pulling up trees, is he? 4 substitutions here. Bruno, Fletcher, Tillemans and Xerxes. So Andre Santos comes off for somebody. Bruno is taking the captain's armband, so I presume, well, I don't know whether Harry Maguire would be coming off. Xerxes on. Ahmad's definitely off. Amas is coming on as well. Mount can pick up an injury walking into hospital, says Folds. So 25 minutes of Tillemans, Bruno. Amas. Luke Shaw must have gone off. Not very good at telling us who goes on and off here. Apologies about that. How do you rate Amas, Mark? I don't think he's ready to be a left-back in the Premier League. I think he needs another loan. But I don't think he's far off. I mean, Championship football, another good loan for him. That would be the ideal, I think. So, Bruno and Xerxes, Ahmad and Mbermo off. And Santos is off. And you've got a Tillemans, Fletcher. One Fletcher's playing on the right. Bruno's at 10. Xerxes. I think Lacey might be on the left wing. And I think Dorgu is off. And then you've got Amas, Maguire, Yoro, and Delo. So yeah, I think Dorgu went off as well. And Lacey's gone to the wing. Santos for 50 million looks a bargain, says Muaz. Mate, please don't jinx it. He's played a few games well in pre-season. You can't say somebody's a bargain in pre-season. They've got to start playing competitive games. Paul Porter, welcome to the Members Club. Just switched on. Mount surely means Kone comes in, or are we back to Martinez can play there, says Cameron. Well, I don't know whether Kone is going to be the midfielder, but surely we do need to go and buy a midfielder. Have you heard anything on the progress of De Ligt? Yes, he's steadily coming back. Obviously, you've always got to watch out for any setbacks, but the feeling is that probably be ready after the first international break in early October. Welcome to the Members Club, Adam Green. Nathan's gifted a membership. Andrew as well, and Sass and Not a Smurf. Welcome to the Members Club. Actually, I'm just going to gift some memberships while we've got a minute, because there's a big announcement coming on Tuesday. And whilst it doesn't totally all impact on membership, there is stuff for the members as well. So there we go. Rishab says, Mark, 1 to 10, why to get a subscription before Tuesday? Yeah, I'm not telling you anything, mate. Garfield tried that. It's a surprise. Are you going to do a match reaction? I normally would do a match reaction, but because we're going to be live again at 8, I'll probably just leave it and talk about everything in the live show at 8 o'clock. Because it's, yeah, we've hardly pulled up trees, have we? I think it's been I think it has been a more challenging pre-season game, which is good though. I think PSG, to their credit, have actually played a lot better than I thought they were. I was a little bit worried that it's only their second pre-season game. They've got a lot of players missing. I actually thought it was going to be a bit of a walk in the park for United, but actually, to be fair, they've been technically a really good opposition because they're good on the ball. So I think it's been a good workout for United. Rishab says, give me something at least 1 to 10. Oh, mate, I think it's 10 out of 10, the news coming on Tuesday. Suki, welcome to the Members Club. Another gifted membership, this time from Jules. You're a legend. Rib, welcome to the Members Club as well. And Stephen, thank you. Amas commits a foul there. On test, thanks for being a member. What time on Tuesday, Mark? Early. Early. I'll be reacting to it on the 10 o'clock show, so it'll be out before that. Baz, welcome to Members Club. Thank you, pal. Yeah, so going back to Amas, I do like Amas. I do think he's got potential, but we need a starting left back. I mean, Amas as understudy to Luke Shaw. I don't think he's ready to start games for United yet. So we need a starting left back. I wouldn't be opposed to Anthony Robinson. It's a little bit short term because he's obviously in his late 20s. I'd be over the moon with Lewis Hall, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Man Utd TV saying Luke Shaw is on Nuno Mendes level. I mean, he maybe he was 4 years ago, not anymore. He's more on George Mendes level as a left back. A pair of world-class left-backs playing today, Luke Shaw and Nuno Mendes, says MUTV commentator. Also, how Jack Fletcher is playing is beyond me, says Parker. MUTV just compared Luke Shaw to Mendes. Ryan and Hamos, thank you very much for for joining the Members Club. Xerxes heads it away. Not much of an attacking intent from United this second half. I mean, obviously both teams have made a lot of changes. Then again, PSG haven't really done a hell of a lot. I want to just see Tillemans on the ball a little bit. Here he is. Did well. Switched it out. Xerxes. Keeper does well. Well, shoot, mate. Shoot. Lacey. Wide. If I was Fletcher, I'd have gone for the shot then. Ryan Plant, welcome to the Members Club. Hamoose says, will Robbie do his forfeit? I'll be chasing that up this week, mate. Babacar, welcome to the Members Club. Rishab as well. And Jones. Xerxes just gone down injured as well now. We don't want him injured. Fucking hell, we can't sell him injured. Don't let him do a Phil Jones. Oh, I just thought about that. We don't want players we want to sell injured. United actually transitioned really well here. It was a good ball by Tielemans. Keeper did well, but I think he connected with Xerxes after the header. Yeah, I think he's hit him in the shoulder. Brian McLaughlin says, Bruno is bound to be fed up with this club. Can you say hi to my son, Max Green? Cheers, Mark, says Adam. Hello to Max. Hope you're enjoying it. Xerxes looks okay. We take Santos off and completely our midfield lacks that control. We did have clearly the third midfielder that can come on for him. Yeah, I mean, Andre's right. I think that whether Santos is going to be a success or not, and hopefully he will be, he can't play 90 minutes of every game. And there is no natural replacement for Santos. So you're right. We're going to play twice a week, 90 minutes. He can't play every bloody minute. So there has to be somebody that can replace him. And Tielemans and Mainu aren't that type of player. And the Fletchers aren't ready. And Mount's not reliable. So you've got to buy someone. Blink twice if you're held at gunpoint, MUTV staff, says Henny. Still wouldn't say no to Truffert. Oh, I'd love Truffert, Ryan. Really would. Mendes. Oh, good play by Yoro. Just did enough. Wins a foul as well. PSG with 80% possession since the subs. Our rebuild, says Anthony. Yeah, but you know what? I know it's only half a PSG team, but they're still the best team in Europe. Like, here's Xerxes. Seemed to have sprung the offside trap. And that was about it. Do you think their goalkeeper looks like Cal the Dragon? I suppose I can see what it's the hair, isn't it? Don't get the two Fletchers. Seen enough of them by now. Nothing special. Bottom table side at best, in my opinion, says Max. Look, I always want our young players to do well. I don't like young players being, picked on or anything like that. I suppose you've always got to say, but at what point do you draw the line? I haven't seen... My biggest issue is I don't know who's who. And that's really bad. When you've got two players, you should know who's who. And I don't know who is who. Which, it's not even like one's good and one's bad. I just think they're both very... They don't stand out, do they? And I think you've got to. Maguire with a shot there. But look, obviously the club rate them. They're in the team. Thwaites is back at home. Ven, welcome to Members Club. Thank you. John as well. Thank you very much. There is an 8 o'clock show tonight, yes. So probably won't bother with a match reaction because there's not really much to react to unless something majorly happens in the next 15 minutes. So, on the Fletchers, there's number 38 and there's number 39. So, number 38 is Jack Fletcher and number 39 is Tyler Fletcher. Who's the better one? Who's the one who played for Scotland in the World Cup? Because I genuinely don't know. Tyler is number 39. He came on at for Mount in the first half. Yeah, so Tyler is the one that came on in the first half, and he's the one who's better, according to the chat. Okay. And he's the one who went to the World Cup. Okay. But wasn't it Jack who got the assist against Atletico Madrid from the right-hand side? And are they both midfielders, or is Jack actually a right winger? Brett Youngman, welcome to the Members Club. Adam Green says, left back, centre midfield, striker. Who do you think the signings will be? Well, we need all three, Adam, but I don't know about the left back. Not heard anything about the left back other than Lewis Hall. And we've got to get a midfielder. Do you think it's possible in 2026 for each of the brothers to play 45 minutes without being substituted? I don't know what that means, really. You should know who's who unless it's the Fabio twins, says Henny. Yeah, but MUTV camera quality is shit, so I'm going to use that. Rachel, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you. Look, what I will say about whether Man United are going to sign a midfielder or a left back, I'm very, very confident that our news is going to be bigger than any signing United make this summer. I don't think they can top it. I really don't. And all will be revealed on Tuesday. "12 minutes to go. We have been linked to this Racing Santander left back, but that terrifies the shit out of me. Crying Scotsman and Patrick, welcome to the Members Club. Thoughts on Bergvall? I mean, I've heard nothing about Bergvall and Man United. It's just a theory that we've sort of spoken about every now and again. And I do quite like the idea of Bergvall because I've always liked Bergvall. But there's a lot of risk with Bergvall. I mean, what would the price be? He's not set the world on fire at Spurs. I just like him, but there's a lot of risk. Ooh, was that Fletcher or Jack Fletcher or Tyler Fletcher? It was one of the Fletchers. I think that was Tyler Fletcher. Good tackle by Tillemans. Good play by Yoro. 10 to go. PSG definitely been the better side offensively in this half. They've got us penned in. We are trying to, you know, sort of reverted back to that counter. Maguire goes long, but the trouble is you can't go long when you've got Xerxes up front. You can go long when you've got Mbermo up front, but you can't do it when you've got Xerxes up front. It just won't work, Harry. Just won't work. We are live at 8, yes. Yeah. And I suspect we will probably get a big flurry of discussion around signing a midfielder, which will be good. Oh, here we are. Who was that? What was the keeper doing? Well, Bruno with a strange cross, and then the keeper completely missed it. I don't know whether he missed it on purpose. It looked like a bit of a keeping error, to be honest. So, goes into Bruno. Oh, keeper seemed to slip or something. Let's have a look at the keeper here, because Bruno's cross is not good. He's trying to get Fletcher in. Oh yeah, keeper's crawling along the floor for some reason. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. As always, make sure you subscribe, get involved with the United Stand. Some big news coming our way, regardless of what United do this week. It's a big week. Also, United against Leeds on Wednesday, I think will be a good game. Because Leeds will take it seriously, and I think we need to start stepping it up a little bit as well, and everyone's going to be back from tomorrow. It's on ITV1, yeah. Left back, Van der Ven. Midfielder, Bawadi. Striker, Osman. Says Riff King. Yeah, dead easy. Jack is an attacking midfielder right winger, and Tyler is a DM CM. Says one and only. Yeah, I can't see the guy. I can't see the guy on the wing being a winger. I think the guy in the midfield might have a chance, but I don't think the 38's got much chance of making it as a winger. I don't think he's got the right skill set at all from what I've seen so far. I think he's going to end up having to tuck inside. Is the news on Tuesday the long-awaited OnlyFans? Says, hey, it's Vamps. We have to wait and see. What cameo is coming first? Gary Barlow or Neville? Says Henny. Cowboy, have you signed Rooney as the new host? I wish. The Fletcher twins are absolutely awful. Nowhere near the level required for this club. Only there because of their surname, says Miko. Nico, welcome to the Members Club. Tanai, welcome to the Members Club. Crying Scotsman, welcome to the Members Club. And Patrick as well. Appreciate you. If you had a 200 million budget, how would you have spent it? Well, I'd still have 160 to spend, wouldn't I? Haas says, I'm not liking the Fletcher brothers being involved in our squad. I think over time it will be bad news. I don't think they'll be involved much. I think the season's too important to try and, develop players that aren't quite ready. You know what? We've been absolutely dead with Xerxes up front. Absolutely dead. So he's just got to go. The way we play, we need someone with a bit of pace to hit the long ball. And it's just not what he wants. I mean, since he's come on, we have looked like no threat at all. Does it go straight to penalties, says Henny? Oh, I hope there isn't. I don't think it's a cup game, so I think it ends as a penalty. I think it ends a draw. No penalties. Drunk Wizard, welcome to the Members Club. Cormac says, I think we've been dead because Diallo and Dorgu are gone. Yeah, well, our wingers are Lacey and Fletcher, so that is a fair point as well. Louis says, I think Tillemans looks sharp. He's trying to drop into the Santos role. I mean, I don't think he can do the Santos role, but he is doing it at the moment. Nice ball for Delo. Don't fuck it up. Oh, God. It was bouncing around in the box. I think it was Fletcher and then Lacey who put it over the bar. Delo actually did quite well. It was a good ball by Xerxes. Delo didn't mess it up, took his time, saw the men on the back post, dinked it up to the back post. Fletcher's header was blocked. His shot was blocked. And then Lacey's shot was over the bar. And that was Tyler Fletcher, who apparently is the better one as well. The twins are Man City double agents, says Luke. Bit better from United here. I think Jack's looked okay. Tillemans is a player, says Robert McCormack. Lacey's just so like Foden, isn't he? I think we're giving them game time so they can be sold, says Kyrox. I don't think they are. I don't think they're... Stephen says, I just read on ITK we signed Kone. Well, we didn't. Trust me, I will know that one straight away. Can this end on a draw? Yeah. Unless something's happened in the last few minutes. Nope. Every fan should have low expectations for the next season. Crazy, says Superb. I just wouldn't read too much into pre-season, to be honest. Oh, Bruno with a shot from distance against the inexperienced keeper, but it goes wide. Watching from LA, put Carrick into centre midfielder, says Sergey. Good to see Bruno back, though. Talisman. Muaz says, I guess we expected too much from this United window. I don't think 5 signings was expecting too much. I just think we've got shit owners. Lacey family isn't to be messed about with. Look it up, says Henny. Funny enough, Henny, I don't normally Google players' families. We need Sesko back, says Red Devil. Sesko will be back. The DM Fletcher is overheated because of his brother, says Lex. Overrated, maybe? Euros look steady. Second half. I suppose in summary, I would say it's been a bit more of a typical pre-season game. You know, PSG have actually given us a better game than I thought they would. And although we might get a winner here, Lacey cut it back. No, went for the cross. No one was there. But I'm looking forward to the Leeds game on Wednesday. I mean, Leeds don't like United. They're also a Premier League club. So fitness-wise will be about the same. And I think they'll want to get one over us in pre-season. So I think the Leeds game will be a good game on Wednesday. Positives from today. Santos was good again. Nice to see Tillemans, Bruno back. I thought Yoro did quite well. But... And ultimately, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I think the Mason Mount injury does highlight what a pathetic window it's been and why we need to use it. Because I'm sure, I've got a feeling Mason Mount will be back for the Leeds game, but whether he's back for the Leeds game or he's out for 3 months, it matters not. It's just another indicator that he's the sort of player that will get injured, and you can't rely on a player like that. Welcome to all the new members, by the way. Trust me, it's going to be worth it on Tuesday. We are back at 8 o'clock with a live show as well. So thank you, everybody, for watching this. And I will see you at 8 o'clock for that. Bit toothless in the attack, Mark. Yeah, there's not been many chances. I mean, I thought Mbermo took his chance well, but you'd want more, to be fair. But as I said, I think Xerxes offers nothing up front. I think he tries hard. It's not, you know, I'm not having a go at him. I just don't think he's a striker, and I think we need to move him on and bring in somebody that actually... It's like square pegs in round holes, is it? You know, Xerxes works in a certain way. He doesn't work in the way we want him. We need somebody who's mobile, who runs in behind, and he ain't going to be that. So ultimately, you're wasting a spot in the squad. But second half, I think we've been more like last season, sit back and counter. First half, it was a little bit more high press. So a game of two halves, really. I don't know how many minutes he's adding on here. I mean, it is a pre-season game, mate. Anybody know? They've literally not said. Anyone know how long they're adding on? 4. Okay. D74, welcome to the Members Club. Mark criticised Bruno like Xerxes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're basically the same player, aren't they? I mean, one of them broke the Premier League assist record and the other one never plays. Would you take Endrick? I'd take Endrick over Xerxes because he's a striker. Yeah. I mean, whether it'd work or not, I don't know. I mean, look, we'll never do it, but I do like when people say Brobby. I do quite like that one. Is there extra time? What, in pre-season? No. I think the referee's about to blow. And he does. Well, look, I'll be back with you at 8 o'clock. We will be talking about the midfield, of course. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And welcome to all the new members. I'll see you at 8 o'clock. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching.